Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly garden tour. If you're just tuning in for the spring season, my name is Rachel, and the garden tours that I do every week are meant to be realistic. They're meant to show you the good and the bad so that especially you new gardeners get to see what a real garden actually looks like, some of the things that are struggles for everybody no matter how long you've been gardening. And I want you guys to get a realistic idea of gardening, because I know so many times there are just highlight reel after highlight reel of beautiful, lush gardens, and when you're first starting out, it can make you feel like you're really bad at gardening. And I don't want you to think that. If you want to garden, then you're going to get good at gardening. You just gotta learn. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over all the stuff I've got growing in my garden. And this week specifically, we're also going to do a perennial garden tour. These are plants that I normally don't talk about every week because they don't change very fast. But today we're going to have some updates on them. First things first, let's take a look at all my little seedlings. These are my tomato seedlings. I also have some tomatillos here. And then over here, I have my very first pepper seedlings starting to come up. These are all sweet peppers, and as you can see, there's still a lot more that need to germinate. Some more little babies just barely poking out. Coming all the way down here, I planted these trays about a week later than those other ones, and so far just the zinnias are starting to come up. So those are first. We've also got some eggplant in here, a bunch of herbs, some hot peppers, a lovely cat. Nothing yet from my ginger and turmeric, but this stuff sprouting can take a long time, which is why I go ahead and get some stuff started inside early. It is an absolutely beautiful day outside here today. The high is just above 70, which is going to be something like 21 Celsius, and I'm out here in my t-shirt. It's so nice. It feels like a spring garden, but everything out here still has to be very well adapted to cold because it can still very easily get below freezing at night. Starting over here at what will be the tomato trellis, we've currently got fava beans and some garlic planted under here. Fava beans are sad looking because they've been kind of dying back every time it gets a little too cold for them. But if we take a look deeper down, this one actually doesn't have it very obvious. But down over here, like this one, this is a brand new shoot coming up. We can see that because of the pointy leaves and just the way that this looks like fresh leaves unraveling right here. I'm still not sure if overwintering them is the move or if planting them now would be the move. Just because having them get cold so often could be stunting them. But also they have this whole root system formed for when it gets warm, so I'm not really sure. A lot of gardening is trial and error. Now in the second row, here at the front, that's harder to see on camera, we've got a bunch of little baby lettuces. These are, I think, Jericho romaines. There's some, this one's Merlot, I think this one is Sweet Valentine romaine, and this one is Cosmo romaine. I might be getting these two backwards. We've also got some dwarf peas and some new fava beans coming up. And these, again, I'm not sure if they will produce because they have been like this most of the winter. Going down the sides, we have garlic on this side and onions on this side, and also a few onions next to the garlic on this side. And these are doing really quite well. These ones specifically are the ones that I grew myself from seed, and everything else I got starts from Dixondale Farms. By the way, if you are not sure about the difference between a start and a set for an onion, I do have a video on that. I'll link it up here. The Brussels sprouts down at the end of this row have been looking really nice lately. Because it has been warmer during the day and we've got more hours of sunlight, they're starting to kind of grow again. They seemed a little stagnant for a while. But as you can see, they're not entirely happy. I'm pretty sure that's an aphid of some kind. I've been seeing more and more of them on these plants. Oof, yeah. Meanwhile, some of the others seem to be completely free of the little aphids. And it's my understanding that when a plant gets infested, it's really kind of crying out for help as far as like not having its needs met and not being healthy. So I'm wondering what this plant is missing that this plant has. With brassicas like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, things like that, I think a lot of the problems they have here keep coming back to the fact that we do have these really extreme temperature swings. Like, it is warm today, but you know, it will get down to freezing again very soon, and they don't like that. It's very inconsistent. It's probably very bad for the health of those plants. Over here in the third row, we don't have just a whole lot going on here either. We do have onions going up the sides on the outside of the trellises, and nothing currently on the trellises. But if we come all the way back here, this is where I planted a lot of the new little brassica seedlings that I put out that I was hoping would at least produce some edible leaves, if not fully head up for me. But the extreme temperatures have killed a lot of those, actually. This one is a good example of some very damaged, frost-damaged leaves here. This plant is trying to recover, but then if we look over here, this was a little seedling, and now it is a dead little stick. I don't know that you ever actually outgrow killing seedlings as a gardener. I've seen people who've been gardening, 20 plus years still kill seedlings. So new gardeners, take hope from that. Killing seedlings is just kind of part of the process. Speaking of killed seedlings, I had some more onion starts in here. I didn't really need them, so I did just kind of let them rot away. They're still trying, a few of them, but I definitely don't think I'm going to end up using these. I also had a couple of oregano transplants, and those got zapped by the cold out here. Strawberries, much harder to kill. These little strawberries are continuing to make leaves. Every time one of them gets frozen and dies, it just goes ahead and makes some new ones. This last row here doesn't have a whole lot. We do have our Romanescos, though, which are looking really beautiful, actually. This is very close to harvestable. I can see it's just starting to maybe loosen up a bit, so this would be about peak time to harvest. Maybe I'll do that today. My kale that's been here for I don't even know how long at this point, definitely like almost a year, still growing new beautiful leaves for me. These tender ones are the best for harvesting for salads, and the purple color is from the cold, makes them extra beautiful. We've got even more garlic down along this bed. As you can tell, I really plant a lot of garlic and onions, but these are doing absolutely great. I think garlic is one of the easiest things to grow. Starting out the perennial part of the tour, I do have this blueberry bush back here in the corner. It is just now starting to put on its little buds. This plant definitely doesn't look the best right now. It was very sick for a while, actually, and I definitely thought it was dead, left it for dead, realized it wasn't dead, and then planted it here in the ground. So the only other perennial that I have besides that one blueberry at the end is I have some irises in this row, which is right along the edge of the swale here. And these have been sprouting up for a while. I haven't seen anything that looks like a flower head on them yet, which I'm pretty glad about because of the cold at night still. Last year I only had one flower because a lot of them bloomed too early and then got frozen off. So hopefully this year we get more than one. Oh look, the first wild violets have started blooming. You can actually eat these. I like to harvest them for a really beautiful tea. I think the leaves are edible too, but I haven't really done anything with them. You can see they're this little cute little heart shape. Over here in my raised beds is where most of my perennials live. Right here is my fig tree. It is brown turkey fig. I got this from the botanical gardens last year at their plant sale. It definitely looks to me like it's doing all right. This looks like a bud here at the tip. Granted, I know next to nothing about caring for figs, but the way these stems are green looks like they're doing okay, as opposed to this brown one, which I wouldn't really expect to see anything from. Yeah, look at that. Now over here in the raised bed, I have quite a few perennials. I've got a lavender plant right here, which has looked kind of sad, but has still bloomed every year. And it looks very similar to this curry plant, which I'm still just not entirely sure what this is, because it's definitely not making curry leaves the way you would think about using curry leaves. But it does still kind of smell like curry. Not entirely sure on that one. We've got sage here, which is multiple years old at this point. And it might be getting near the end of its life by the looks of it. Sage can live anywhere from 3 to 5 years, so seeing it start to deteriorate at this point is pretty normal. Back by the sage, we also have my oregano. This is an Italian oregano. Still looking pretty good these days. And next to it is parsley. Parsleys, I think, are biennial 2 years, so it'll probably go to seed this year. Thyme has just been making some new leaves. You can see kind of it starting to green up here in the center. This plant has been here, I don't know, it's at least 2 years old, maybe older. But I try to keep it trimmed back most of the time, and it does flower every year as well. This dead looking thing here by the thyme is my Mexican tarragon. It should come back this year, but it would probably be a little early for it to start coming back. It came back last year. Over here in this raised bed, we've got another parsley. And these, I actually just buy started plants from the grocery store, and it usually has quite a few different plants in it, so I'll split it up and plant it out, and it's pretty cheap to do. We've got chives here. This is going to be their second year in this space. I think I planted them kind of late last year. And this is hi-ho silver thyme. It is also just getting established this year. I think I planted it at the same time I planted the chives. In the top of this bed, I've got carrots, and I've actually pulled out everything I'm going to eat this year. The rest of these I'm leaving to go to seed. Carrots will make seeds in their second year, so all of these will go to seed. Here on the other side of the carrots is my Greek oregano. It got knocked back by the cold, but seems to be recovering pretty nicely. Then down here on the bottom, I've got another parsley. You can actually see this one had 4 big roots here, and 3 of them have completely died off, and only 1 is coming back. And then here, this one is a lemon thyme. It struggled a little bit last year. I'm hoping that now that it's more established, it'll be a little healthier this year. It smells absolutely amazing, though. I highly recommend lemon thyme, even if all you do is smell it. I came over here to pull a little weed, and I found these. I think these are... I mean, it's definitely a mushroom of some kind. My first guess is maybe wood ear or something like that. Not entirely sure. My mushroom identifying skills are very rudimentary. If anybody knows, please let me know. That is very cool. That was all the way here under... Oh, there's more over here. That was all the way under this straw. For the record, fungi with your plants is generally a good thing. You might not want to see that indoors, but it is still kind of common with indoor plants. Outdoors, fungi, they're usually not hurting your plants. A fungal infection on a plant will not show up as like a fruiting body fungus in the soil. It will be like spots on the leaves. So I've actually got quite a few blueberries here. I've got 2 older plants that are newer to me, and then I think 3 or 4 plants that are not quite as old, but I have had planted here longer. This one right here looks the best. The rest of them aren't doing so good. But look at all the buds on this one. I'll have to look up on my chart inside to see which variety this one is. All the ones that I planted a couple years ago were different varieties. So some of them look like this, and then some of them look like this. Definitely not thriving, but also not dead. Down in here I've also got my garlic chives, separate from the onion chives you saw earlier, and also a few cloves of actual heading garlic interplanted in here. Here's another one underneath the strawberries, which this year I'm hoping will continue to spread. They make such a good living edible mulch for areas like this. I've been pretty happy, even with the Bermuda grass that I tend to have. They're keeping it back pretty well. You know, it's not fully gone, but it is making a dent in it, so to say. It is about time to be trimming back my blackberry bushes and my raspberry bushes over here. And I'll try and update you guys when that happens, but you can see they are starting to make new little leaves, which is very nice. And I'm going to be replacing this whole trellis system in here. This panel trellis was not the move for these blackberries and raspberries. But again, I'm hoping that the strawberries over here will kind of take over more this way. I transplanted a couple of them over here to hopefully help speed that up. Over here in with the raspberries, I also have my rosemary. When I put it here, I really had no idea how big the raspberries were gonna get. So it's here now, and it seems to be doing all right. It's had unlimited access to the sun over the winter, so I'm sure it's pretty happy about that. Over here on the corner of my house is a hosta plant. I didn't put it here, but I learned last year that hostas are edible, especially those new shoots that come out in the spring. You can eat them like asparagus. Leaves are edible too, so this year I might try some hosta sprouts. All of this right here at the base is weeds. No real sign of the shoots coming up yet, but it should be very soon. You know, I say that and then I immediately find this right here looks like just the very tippy top of a new shoot coming up. Alrighty guys, well that is all I have for you today. I hope that if you're new here that you go check out the playlist and catch up on all the garden tours for the year. And if you'd really like to see what the garden looked like in its peak last year, go check out garden tours from about August and September of last year. That was absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. But until then, happy gardening.